The bottom line Liberia is here, and tonight we're going to be having some interesting discussions. So let us say welcome to you if you're joining us for the first time. This is where we discuss the issues. We give our opinions. We also listen to others, and we we do discuss things about Liberia and about Liberians. So let me say welcome to all of you that will be joining us for the first time, or as usual. Uh, I will go over to my colleague panelist to introduce himself and tell you where he lives and how he's been doing during the course of the week. And then we'll get some discussions going on. My name is Linford. Welcome. Matt?
Yeah, welcome, bro, Linford.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll start with the weather because we have had here in Norway. We've had, as I speak to you, I'm surrounded. My house is surrounded by water. On this side, I don't know whether this is north side. It's the river flowing around the town. It goes around the town, and I'm on the edge of the river. Then next to me down here, if I should make it the south side, that's the park, the football field, and the water goes around the park and the football field. And the football field was just refurbished in the summer. They have to change it and make it a little modern with, new grass planted and a modern parking lot with electric cars and stuff and everything like that. It's just 10 meters away. If I go outside, I look there. And this water got full 2-3 days ago. That the relief, I think I did a video, the emergency relief workers or emergency response unit came. We all built sand dunes here with tarpaulins covering the crushed rock and block the waterway. So the river has full. The river is full now. It cannot flow anymore. Because if you go way down at the end, they got a little dam there. In fact, they got another dam up here and another dam. And so it's full. That it was flowing. Even the dam here, the building, the small building there, I don't know whether that the power machine or what. The whole building cover, you can see it. So the water flow now, it can go. Then the new football field they fixed because behind me here is the city. The new football field they fixed, I think they get drainage system from the city that the water is entering inside all the drainage, the water so will enter inside the river, right? So the river full, that drainage cannot go. So the water is pushing the water back inside the drainage. So the top of the drainage is up. So the water is now, instead of the water flowing, is shooting on the football field. The whole football field is covered and the water is coming to me, to our own place there now. So we're thinking whether they will come black again, because if they black it, then where the water will go, because the water is not going anymore. It's full and it's coming out. So we have, but the good thing is that the rain has stopped. Is the water that we're having now is near the water from the mountain, because when it rains, the water sit all the mountains, they got to drain down, and then so that's why we've been going through. But the rain has stopped, though we still have rain in the forecast for next couple of days. But it's much better. But the only dilemma we have now is this water on the football field that is getting full, and no parking lot there again. All the electric car charger, everything going on in the water. I don't know whether it will function anymore. So that's it. But how's the weather from your side?
Yeah, the weather for my side been good since yesterday afternoon. But we have almost similar problem, because I heard Sweden and Norway be affected by heavy downpour of rain for the past 1 or 2 weeks like that. So few villages and stuff have problem with how to call it, mud or landslide. Yeah, but so far so good. No rain today, but just been a little bit cloudy. That's it from my end.
And that's the same. The mudslide too is what we've been having here. The main road, the the E16 is passing right here, and the mudslide. There were several mudslides between like 12 kilometers away from here. So the mudslide is there, and but they were able to continue. But how much can they do? Because there's a mountain, right, and the road is on the side of the mountain, and the water is coming from the top of the mountain, bringing down all the BB rocks and crossing the road. So how much can the only thing they can do is move the debris that are on the road. So they can't go black that water from way up the hill. So we're still hoping that there will not be much rainfall down. Okay, but tonight we'll be actually looking at the coming the elections, the presidential and general elections that we expect to have in Liberia. And so if you join us for the first time, we'd like to say welcome to you. Help us to share the video. Intermittently, you see my head bend like this. I'm trying to share the video. So you can also share the video to your contacts if you're joining us for the first time or if you are one of our regular listeners. But Mike, tonight we'll be talking about the general election, the general and presidential elections that are coming up in October. By the way, 60 more days. That's exactly 2 months minus one day each. So if you have like 2 months with 30 days each, that's what we have left. 60 more days left to go to the polls. And all odds are set. Because in whatever case, we have 2 options here. Re-elect President Weah. Option number 1. I'm not saying that that's what we should do, but let's say 2 scenarios, not option, but 2 scenarios. Either re-elect President Weah or re-elect a new government, new president. Or if I should give a third scenario, re-elect the UP, because the UP is a former ruling party, and they just scrambling. The only difference, like I said the last time on the show, the only difference between they and the CDC is that 6 years gap that has elapsed. But in a fair case, UP is still a former ruling party. So scenario 1, re-elect President Weah in 60 days time. Re-elect the the UP, or elect a new president. It could be President Cummings, it could be President Morris, it could be President Gonglo, it could be President Moniba, or whoever. But those are the 3 scenarios that we will expect in 60 days from now. But the process leading to the 60 days, we have election campaigning, we have debates, and then it will be the elections. So in that 60 days, many things will happen. And most of the things that will happen will be like people will be crossing carpet. People will be leaving one party to another. People will be leaving one party when they go, then they come back again. So a lot of things will happen. And that's normal in any electoral process. But the main thing all Liberians are looking up to is peace, or peaceful elections. Because the election that brought George Weah to power was the first election that ever ushered in a president peacefully. All the other ones we've been having problems. So this other election is expected to be the second election that will usher in a peaceful transition. But the question that everybody's asking is it going to be possible? Are we going to have a violent, free elections? That's what everybody's eyes are set on. That's what everybody is looking at. That's what everybody is discussing, and that's what everybody is hoping for. So, Mark, let me just ask you this question. You can ask me. We'll be discussing. We'll make it conversational. Now, we have 60 more days to go. And like I said, everybody is hoping for free and fair elections. Now, with the recent waves of violence in the country, the first one, as soon as campaign opened, the first time CDC went out, they were carrying casket, saying that it was a casket of former Vice President Joe Boakai, which in any case, in any clear terms, was an affront to the party and to the stand-up bearer. Now, then 2 days after, CDC and UP supporters are clashing at their events. So, do we still look at a peaceful elections in 60 days' time, Mark?
Peaceful election, I mean, it is possible. Depends on how the leaders of the political parties behave. This was a good thing that happened at an early stage, so that they can be able to put things under control. That we all would like to depend on foreign actors, so that they will be able to, call the heads of these political parties and send a message to their supporters. But when it comes to the violent aspect, I won't generalize everybody in the CDC. There are a lot of decent people, well-educated people in the CDC, but there are a lot of the grassroots supporters in the CDC. They are very, very, most of them are very arrogant, agitated, angry people that believe in a kind of how you call a violent way of doing things. So to get their way, either it is them or nobody else. So, and UP2 being a former ruling party, they're not going to sit by and let things slide by like that. So for that reason, the both of them going to go at each other. Yeah, so there's a possibility we'll have a peaceful election. As I said, depends on what the political leaders of all these parties going to say to their supporters.
And you did strike a very good point about the political leaders telling their supporters what to do. And I personally am of the opinion, I mean, this is my personal opinion, I may not be right, but I'm of the opinion that most of what happens during the campaign time is not like probably the carrying of the caskets may not be sanctioned by the party leader. Say, you go, I don't think the president will waste his time and sit and say, no, you go face casket and put Joe Biden picture on it. And say, well, if he did that, that would be a poor strategy, waste of time. Where you're using maybe 5-10 minutes to tell your people to do the kind of thing when you will be using that 10 minutes to do something better. And I don't also think, because from what I saw on other social media, the information I got and the videos that I saw, the provocation that happened, or the clashes that actually took place between Unity Party and CDC supporters yesterday. I don't want to be judgmental. But I'm judging from the footages that I saw on social media. It was clearly the Unity Party folks who took a challenge, because they said they were going to free the former VP, thinking that he's held captive in the traffic, and so they are going there. We got to go free our our Senate Bureau, our incoming president, the next president. Nobody would take him. So, and they were marching, and while marching, there were citizens on the road, and there was I saw a guy in some black clothes. He was literally pushing citizens from the road to break through, and whenever two opposing forces meet, especially on the political ground, we expect that there will be tension. And I think it was within this conference that the NEC gave every political party the opportunity to send in their campaign schedule, that if Mark is going to Jalatan, I should not be going to Jalatan at the same time. If it happens that we are going the same day, maybe I will go earlier, booking like 2-3 hours. When I'm done, then Mark can come maybe an hour after that with his group. Because potentially, if the two groups meet, something will happen. And nobody can control that. Like you said, the supporters of these parties, they act out of sentiments. And I don't think if I'm head of the party, I'll go sit down and call all the people and say, when you go, you should go fight, because I might not even be there to know what's happening. So you go fight, you go punch a man, or go do this thing, go throw a rock. No. Okay? It may be, we're not ruling anything out here. It could be that in their chat room or some from some higher up, say, look, when you go there, you'll be prepared for the kind of. So it's all possibilities, Mark. But you said is it possible that we can have peaceful elections, right? If the political leaders talk to their people. But again, I have a different view. Or I find it a bit difficult. Make yourself one political leader for the CPP, let's say. You don't know all your members. You don't know where they live. You have no contact with them. Yeah, you may talk to, you can go on the air and talk. They say, I'm not talking one thing, we're going. Anybody bring nonsense, they'll see what we do. So this is the situation. How you think we can put that kind of situation under control? And how much do you think the political leaders can do in that respect?
Thank you, Brother Lenfer. That is why it is important that political leaders watch the language that they use before election and during election.
Mm-hmm.
So the rhetorics, of the political leader is very important. The way they compose themselves, the way they respond to national issue is very important. So I'm not saying this because I support Mr. Cummings, but if you watch Mr. Cummings, all the things that have unfolded, there are a lot of people certain time, you push a man until he cannot penetrate the wall anymore. So, but Mr. Cummings being very tolerant from his experience as a leader, as an administrator, not to take matter into his hands, because there were a lot of opportunity or a lot of occasions that Mr. Cummings would have said, okay, help with everything, and I'm no longer going to exercise tolerance because the pressure from the government, the Boga case, and his own colleagues connived against him to prosecute him. So all these things, but still yet Mr. Cummings kept his calm, continued to use diplomatic languages, and to speak on the issue that affect the Liberian people, the bread and butter issue. But let us go to the other parties, their leaders, the leadership. If you listen to the rhetorics that come from the president, even when he go to his so-called, place of gathering on a Sunday, the rhetorics that come from his mouth, it's not anything but violent rhetorics that come from his mouth. And he's forget to know that he's the father of the country. He's not leading just one sector of the country. He's the president of the country. He's responsible for everybody, the security of everybody. But the rhetoric come from his mouth. It continues to exaggerate issue and exacerbate issue that his supporters, knowing their background, they going to approach things just how their father, talk about them. Then if you look at the UP side, this old man with the 40-some more years experience watched his language towards Mr. Cummings, which were, some of them were violent. If you go back, retrospect on some of the tips, there are a lot of recording out there, the languages he used against Mr. Cummings. There were also violent language coming from Omen Baka and some of his key surrounding. So language is very important before election and during the election season, most especially coming to the down of the election season, like the 2 months that we have ahead. So there's a message that, looking at what Liberia are going through over the past years, like you talk about, every election cycle in Liberia has never ended peacefully or with some sort of noise, except for the one that brought the UP in power for 12 years. And because we had the peacekeepers on the ground and with the intervention of the international community, so things never, went out of hand. But the language from the political leaders, the rhetoric from the political leaders is very important. And I just wish that, ANC doesn't get involved. And I believe Mr. Cummings and his team, they are going to handle things differently, looking at what unfolded. But like you rightfully put it, that if you I mean, if I'm in that position and, Monrovia got two way of entry, the one from the Congo town coming to the Cinco Belt and the other one from the Garnersville passing the Bourgeois Island area. So those are the two main points of entry into central Monrovia. So, and the communication level, I don't know how they communicate with one another. So if you got the message that, okay, XYZ party is at this location, and you know that the country, there are not many roads to enter the capital. So I think you should avoid these things because it is the down minute of the campaign season, and people are going to take just little mistake, just a squash on a person. They're going to over exaggerate and want retaliation, no tolerance. And it's not going to be about the issue. No, but everybody want to prove strength instead of focusing on the issue that affect the Liberian people. So, as I said to you, we hope that it doesn't, happen again. And a statement from the leaders of the CDC and the Unity Party, I hope they issue strong statement towards their partisan, so that these things doesn't, it doesn't get out of hand.
And exactly, Mike, you will not have said it any better than that, because I'm still hopeful, like you, like any other person. I'm still hopeful that we can have a free and fair elections. But again, who knows? One instance can blow the whole thing wild, and we'll be talking different thing. So we hope that the political leaders will continue to just talk to their supporters. And I personally do know how much they can do in that respect, but it is still not late. They can do it. They can talk to their various supporters at the party headquarters through messages, radio messages, and stuff like that. And again, the one thing you said that I want to buttress is the communication aspect of it. The kind of messages that the leaders will send out, because most of these people, they follow their leaders, and whatever the leaders say is what they will want to do. So if the leader is carrying violent message all the time, it will begin to ring bells in their supporters' ears, and that's what they will lay by. That's what they will be doing. And at the end of the day, who has something to lose? Not the common supporter out there who is shouting "Muya, Muya, Muya." No, it absolutely has nothing to lose compared to you, the political leader. Maybe if that little man down there has anything to lose in the violence, it may be his eyes, his any part of his limb, or in his life. Okay, which we do not hope for. But you, the political leader, your effort will go in vain, your money will go in vain, your character will be tainted. So I think they need to continue to talk to their people, and I think the media too. We in the media, we should also help to preach that message of peace, because if anything goes wrong, they will ask, what did you people say? And the little we can do is to inform our people that, no, Liberia is no country we have. We are all brothers. Take for instance, Mark, you live here, but you still got family in Liberia. So anything affecting Liberia, it will affect you indirectly. Okay? And your family in Liberia, all of them not even part of this, they are not the same party, they are in different parties. So if party A and party B clash, and there is people dying, people getting wounded, God forbid, it could just be one of the brothers in the other party wounding the other one in the other party. So I don't think for any reason, any given reason on earth, especially in political scenario, that you have to go and risk your life, risk the lives of other people by being so bitter. What about this thing that is bitter? The people you're fighting for, at the end of the day, all the leaders, the political leaders, today they can say, we're going to sit down together and talk. What you do? Why your boss already, you cripple for life? The two people go together. Okay? And in politics, people can cross over. in the last election, we saw all the people that said the dirty things about Buakai or about Joshua, they all crossing from one camp to the other. So you see, so somebody once defined politics to me as a fool's game, where wise men play the game, but the fools, it's a war, you know, it's a kind of war game. The wise men create the war, then the fools fight it. You know, the wise men still sitting and watching them fighting, but he actually created this war. That's what politics is. Okay. So you who are the fools in this game, so to speak. Literally, you're not fool, but this is the nature of the game. You gotta learn to be wise, because you're fighting for somebody, and the man you're fighting for is not there. What do you gain at the end of the day? Ask yourself. Yes, I will carry my body, they will beat me, I'll get wounded. I saw some bloody people yesterday. The video was very disturbing. And they probably lie in the hospital, and they probably do not even have money to stay in the hospital. They are home, healing their wound. JMD is home. Probably right now he's sipping on some cold icy beer or something, or having a nice conversation with some friends. Joshua is relaxing, because those were the two parties that clashed yesterday, CDC and UP. Okay, other people sitting there relaxing, then you there in pain. They didn't even know you. Nobody called you to say, you can go do. So you got to be careful. You the layman down there who know you love the people. No, just before we came on, I was in a conversation with my brother, my little brother. Oh, your man there, your man. Nobody know your man. That the people know that the people don't want. So I say, you voting for the people because you know them, or you voting for the people for what's in there for you. Not that you voting for the man to give you money, but if they man gets to power, what do you benefit? Will you have joy? Oh, yeah, but you know, like brother, we use so hard time, so we just want the person we know. See the mentality. So these people, our voters, especially the young people, they will go the extra mile. They take this campaign thing or the election thing to be a zero-sum game, where they go in there with all that they have, their life and everything, simply because they love Mark Farr. Can you imagine? So I don't know if there's anything you want to add again, then we can move on to something else. We're not going to be here very long today.
Yeah. You see, you made a good point, Brother Linford. The thing in Liberia is that it is never about the issue to many of the Liberian voters. Yeah, it is never about the issue, but it's about the law for the person. So Liberian people, I mean, voter education, I hope and pray that we get a leadership that the election commissioner or people within have the responsibility to educate our people, and then to our education system will improve, because all these things boil down to sometimes illiteracy. What affect the people? Your child not in school, your child selling on the street. You can't go to hospital. The hospitals are in, bad condition. The road, the market or farm road is not in good condition. The people, even they make their farm, people can buy their things because of the economic difficulties in the country. Companies not coming in the country, no employment. These are things that Liberian people are supposed to think about. Why should I vote for Linford? Can Linford get the job done? Can Linford make the educational system in Liberia better? Can Linford make the healthcare sector in Liberia better? Can Linford make more companies to come in the country? Can the security apparatus in Liberia improve? Can Linford, make, for example, introduce policy that the lawmakers, this salary they are making and it's not benefiting us, but just the lawmakers, can these things improve so that I don't have to go to bed hungry, I don't have to go to school hungry, or I don't have to leave my house without having breakfast. You ask the ordinary Liberian man, compared to our neighboring country, Guinea or Senegal, for example, these people, they are used to having 3 or 4 times a day, a meal, you understand? But the Liberian man only know about, okay, if you from that background, you wait until your man goes sell, come back home by 4 o'clock, you start cooking before you go low. At 6, 7 o'clock, you eat and go to bed. Sometimes you keep your little rest. You wake up in the morning just to warm it at the one you got now for breakfast. So these are things that Liberian people are supposed to concern themselves with, instead of going to fight for somebody who are going to be making tens of thousands of dollars. And at the end of the day, you're going to be wounded, like you said, sitting in a hospital. After even said after the person doesn't even know you, the person even know your first name or your last name, where you're coming from. They don't care about you. They only read in the newspaper, oh, XY amount of people got wounded during the demonstration. Who they sent to you to look after you? No. So Liberian people really should think about the issue that affect the country. How can we get the rightful leader, for example, that will be able to serve us? We share border with Cote d'Ivoire, but every Ivorian village you go, you can take a car from Abidjan tonight, you take a bus, you drive on a smooth road to any Ivorian state. Electricity, water, they got schools in those counties, they got hospitals in those counties. But we, Liberia, there's nothing like that for us. So our people need to start thinking about what affect the Liberian people, but not what going to benefit John Brown when I elect him. Do you put the country first, or you put an individual above your country? That is why my loyalty is not to any individual, but my loyalty is to the country. If the Mr. Cummings I support in the first 1 year, if I don't see the sign of him doing the people's job that he promised, of him walking the talk, I myself I start protesting against him, Mr. Cummings. The first 2 years, 1 or 2 years, I see no signal that, oh yeah, everything is contribution to the Liberian people. I mean, agriculture, money, tourism, and XYZ. I don't see no, sign in the tunnel. I tell you again, Mr. Cummings, that's not what I signed up for. Mr. Cummings is not God. I didn't elect Mr. Cummings to make him a God. I vote support Mr. Cummings for him to be a good leader that will do the people's job. So these are things that Liberian people are supposed to concern themselves with, not to vote for somebody because, oh yeah, the person and myself from the same county or we speak the same language or X, Y, Z. No.
Fairly said, Mark. And like I said, if our voters will prioritize their own lives, then we wouldn't be here. But the fact is, they don't prioritize their own life. And this is the most painful part of it. It's like they don't know what they want. All they want is they should have somebody, they should elect somebody. But asking those difficult questions, if I elect this person, what can a person deliver? What will a person be able to do that my personal life will be improved? Yes, definitely. This one is no doubt the person that you're going to elect is going to live a better life. The person you elect will live a better life. That one, nobody can dispute that. But what about you? Ask yourself this: what is in there for me? How can I change from one stage where I am now when electing this person in 2 years that I will be in a better position so that I will be able to look back and say, well, I was there, but now I'm here. But our people are not thinking that way. What they're thinking about is to please the person that they're electing and let the person feel good. But for them, no, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. You go to ask the ordinary voters. If you learn in Liberia today and you decide to say, okay, I'm going to interview the first 100 people, what are the main place that Liberia, how they call it, a source of revenue comes from? Can you name 4 or 5 sectors that Liberian revenue comes from? Some of the same people that are in the street are voting. They can name at least 3 areas that the country generate revenue from. But these people, they are in the street fighting. What are you fighting for? Okay. You're supposed to be asking questions. Okay, our mining sector, money comes from there, but where is the money going? How much do our government get annually? And how is that money spent from the mining sector? For example, Firestone. How much the government get from Firestone yearly, and how is that money spent? And if there is no report from Firestone, we need to pressurize our government or the person we're going to elect. My friend, yeah, Firestone being in this country for JJ Rauer time, how much we get from Firestone on a yearly basis? Are you going to disclose these things when you are elected? And how are you going to spend that money? Where are you going to invest that money that you made from Firestone? Where are you going to invest? How much the mining sector they pay to us? How much that county going in that county? How are you going to spend that money? Is it going to go on just salary paying lawmakers, the huge salary and stuff? and how much you're going to put into infrastructure. For example, the maritime affair. Why is it we can collect our own maritime money? Why is it there's a second party or a third party collecting our money can fall direct into our hand? And what are you going to do in order for us to get our own maritime money? And how are you going to spend? For example, our logging sector, the gold. How much gold leave this country? And how much Liberia benefit from the gold that is being extracted from our soil in the country? And how are you going to spend this money? How are you going to develop? So these are critical questions of voters. For example, the fishing industry. What are you going to do to to empower the fishing industry? Because Liberia, we used to be one of the high exporter of fish before through the Monrovia group of fishing company. So these are things that voters should be concerned about and ask their political leader, because one of the things all these political leaders, I've never heard from them when it comes to these few areas that I have named, how they are going to renegotiate some of these contracts with these people that, hey, their contract was signed almost 50 years or 100 years ago and you have never benefited us. So it is time that we renegotiate this contract, because our people are asking questions. And how much we get from this contract, what we're going to spend this money. But Liberian voters are not concerned about the thing to sing, how the call say, hallelujah, hallelujah, to somebody that cannot that cannot explain how he going to get you out of the mess that you're in.
You cleverly dragged us into the next thing that I want us to talk about, and that was very good.
Sorry about that.
No, I mean, you cleverly did it. I mean, it was good. You see, Liberia as a country, we are blessed, and most countries in the world we want to be like us. But again, an old man told me a parable a long time ago. He said, if you are in the water, you would think that you can get. I gotta decline this call because but if you are in the water, you think that you can get thirsty. And you look around, you see water all around. So man, maybe you yet dip your head and drink small. But there's somebody in the middle of the desert. Sorry, we are under the weather. The cold is too much. There is somebody in the midst of the desert, my brother, who want to he waiting to even sweat, so he can bring his own t-shirt in the mouth and drink the water. But during the midst of the water, he said, "Oh man, my man, in fact, I want to get out of the water here." That the kind of country Liberia is. We got all these things around us. You and I live in the Scandinavia. The Sweden you live is not quite different from Norway here. This country would do the few people that grow small things like cassava, or strawberry, potato, and other small things. Majority of the food in the country is imported. But we get enough food to eat that if you go to the various hotels, the amount of food they throw away, they can feed Monrovia for the whole day. But yet, people got it. They may play. That do may play. Liberia, we are blessed. They discover oil in your country. That same month, they sold all the oil black to foreigners. Forgetting that they get children, they sold all the oil blacks to foreigners. And what Norway is living on, oil. So the thing other people are looking for, you get it, then you sell it. Then you turn around and sit down and say, no job. So let me welcome Francis Mensah. He's our contributing guest here. So Francis, we'd like to say welcome, and we know you said you'll be in and out, but so we discussing generally tonight. Just first, we started with whether we see a peaceful elections coming to Liberia in the wave of the recent violent activities happening here and there, and we just gave our opinion on it, and we hoped at the conclusion that the political parties will be able to talk to their supporters, and the supporters themselves will want to know that their lives are important and they should not get involved into anything that will make them to either die or get crippled, because violence has no rule. There's no referee in violence. So, these are some of the things we're talking about, and we just transition to improving the economy, that as we go to elections, even though we love those people that we're voting for, quote unquote, we love them, but we should ask the critical questions. What will we get after putting our people there? The people want, when we let them, they go sit in the mansion. We can't go there again. We are let it don't we help to build a mansion. No, anyway, they say we're not paying from there. Yeah, we'll go sit down. But then what will get to?
Thank you again, Lingo,
yeah.
for
Okay,
the
go ahead.
show, and thank you again to you and Mark. I've been following the discussion. I will just I will just chime in on the latter part you just did commented on when people ascend to the executive mansion to the presidency. Uh, it's quite a tricky situation because uh, it's a common place that most of the people who champion the cause for these people who were in the trenches don't get to see them anymore, and it's not only limited to Liberia but across the world. And also when it comes to the presidency and how what do you get as a benefit? Uh, there are direct benefits and indirect benefits, so to speak. And the presidency or the leadership has the responsibility to cater to you. I mean, provide basic services that will help improve your life and the lives of the future generations. Set the place. I mean, the blueprint. But unfortunately for Liberia, I hope this time around we will have a leader who would not just care about his whole inner cycle, but probably will actually focus on uh, the bread and butter issue of the citizenry, and basic necessity. I mean, school, electricity, healthcare. These are paramount things that everybody needs. I mean, it's a fundamental right. It's part of the what you call it, the sustainable development goals that people should have across the world. Uh, we see the current government and past government is just about inner cycle, and I mean, people are left, you know, in the wilderness because they are not being catered to. So we hope that the next government or whoever, if this we are led administration continue, they should have a 360-degree turn around to cater to the people, because I mean people should be not just putting you to power, but then there should be a reciprocal gesture in terms of of basic necessities for people to live their life.
Okay, so we hope our leaders, like you said, they will not always look in an inner circle because they feel that that is where they can relate to, like I can relate to you, I can relate to Mark can relate to me. So the other people, well, we don't care for them, they can be what they want. And government doesn't run that way. You take that responsibility to the point where you feel yourself responsible for a larger majority of the people, okay? Because that's what you were primarily elected to do. But Mark and I were just on how to improve the economy, whether our voters are asking these critical questions, considering that Liberia is blessed. We got all these iron ores all around the place. We got mountains all around the place. We got rivers. We got forests that can harbor wildlife that could be used for tourism purposes. We got a very good scenery. I flew in a helicopter along the Atlantic Ocean going all the way to Maryland County. And if you fly along the coastline, you'll see how beautiful the coastline we have is. 350 miles of coastline. That's anything small. Okay. Some countries in the world are praying to even be situated by a river, but we are on the ocean. Can you imagine? I'm in the maritime business, and I know how maritime countries. You live in Sweden, all the water. You see ships coming, boat coming. If a ship spends 1 hour at a port, that's income. Now, one of the places where we're missing money is the maritime sector, and I will go there. So let me get read something so that we all can chime in on. And Mark have been pushing this thing for the past few days now.
Yeah, yeah.
We
Before you go to
have
that, let
uh,
me just come uh, in relation to the electoral violence that that's ongoing. I
that's
think
very
it's
important.
despicable. People should have tolerance, irrespective of which political party we tend to support. Even you, people could have ideological differences. But I mean, I think Liberia is a small country, and we tend to have the same ideology in terms of politics. In other words, we have the communism, the far wing, the far left, the far right kind of kind of approach, like in Sweden, other countries. So I think it's incumbent upon the political parties, no, to issue stern warnings the apologists, the supporters, to desist from electoral violence, because look, we will be advocating for sanctions on any government or any political party that they an official. We're not going to sit back and allow Liberia to degenerate into to chaos. We got the European Union. We are in Europe. So the European Union is one, what you call it, most contributing foreign entity that support the Liberian government. Even in Sweden, we will issue, we'll go to the CEDA office and the Swedish Foreign Ministry to target political parties and the stewards. This not be taken for lightly, to be taken lightly, because the political leaders, party leaders, they hide behind. There's a facade that no, we are not part of it. But behind the scene, they give instruction to these guys to go out, the talks, to go and no, injure people. So this should not be taken lightly. So I mean, from the European Union's perspective, and from we in Sweden here, I will personally gather people to go to the Swedish Foreign Ministry, and that we target those political parties and the leaders that want to inflict harm, bodily harm, psychological harm on our people, because they have different ideological, political, or what you call it, divide and thoughts. So that's where we. I mean,
that sounds like a very good warning, and people should understand, because what we're talking about here, it may sound likely to people, but Mark and I discussed it earlier on. Francis, you know people who I know. I didn't even know that I know some people who I know until when I check your friends list. Some of my classmates are there. Mark and I grew up practically on a papa. We may have had some childhood friends in common, which I know we have. Okay, so listen with Paul. So if you look at the cycle of life that we live in Liberia, especially that small Monrovia where all the activities going on, you know that people we are entangled. So we all going out and clashing. You end up killing somebody when you go look at a party Google. That somebody who been sitting there all day eating dry rice, you're laughing, or somebody who were drinking beer all day, or even your brother-in-law, maybe they got being, you say, oh, you start regretting. So we gotta be careful with this thing. I don't know how much violence will go through as Liberians for us to take precautions. This is why I'm saying, and most of these children that are involved in this thing, that are children that were born either during the wartime who were babies, their mothers were carrying them on their backs, or they were born after the war. So, they were always think that when they hear the name war, it's something good, or they think that they are some superheroes. No. So we got a lot of work to do. The political leaders will have to put their feet strong. I know they can go in every corner to talk to them, but go through influential people. They got now things are very easy. You got a website, everybody got that cell phone, put an announcement or call on your leader, your followers to slow down. And concerning yesterday's violence, I still have to see maybe they release a condemnation today, but the Unity Party have not done that. And CDC, I didn't know, but I was not active on the internet today to be frank, so I don't know. I think they should do that.
Or lean for look, the issue, the new approach of militancy in our politics, our body politics, have taken over. Liberians are quick to copy things. I mean, most of these battle cries, they come from South Africa. I mean, the apartheid era, and some of the guys don't even know the reactionary term. You know what reactionary means? I mean, yeah, most of the I mean, I'm sorry, now it's a commonplace among the political party. Reactionary tendency. No, reactionary, it simply means against the status quo. I mean, I hear the ruling party people, the supporters talk about reactionary tendency. And also, we have to desist from the militancy form of politics in Liberia. And it's so sad that the ordinary people supporters are being used because these guys, they hang up, they chill, they go to Calabash, you see them chilling out in Liberia. I saw all the guys from the ruling party, the opposition, the bunch, they are chilling. And then, I mean, they come out there, they preach that message of hate. I mean, how can one Indian son man go and chop off somebody's ear? You know, I mean, just appalling. It's very appalling, and we need to desist from that as Liberians. We need to look. I mean, you are Libya. I mean, Sweden has one. I mean, the Swedish government now, they have a socialist, anti-immigrant party, the Swedish Democrats. These guys are they are in the government right now. What you doing here? Them pushing that anti-immigrant politics, like, you know, it has to be their paramount focus. So we need to desist from that. Elections will come, election will go. So I mean, it's just appalling, man.
And Mark will come in, but let me tell you, because we're transitioning to that point now. But let me just say one thing that I learned from Mr. Cummings. All he knows we got about politics. Francis, why is you told me, oh my man, I come in, but I got to do my small nothing tonight. Why you say you won't get all you go to the prime minister hall, you go stand there. How say? Why Marcus early morning get go to the city mayor hall? It's simply because Mark has got his job to do in the morning. Francis has got his job to do in the morning. At the mountain, we wake up early in the morning, everybody getting ready to go. What time do you have?
Extra job. I'm a regular geek. I'm occupied.
Yeah, let the rest of the country we have no job. So all the young people, the only occupation they see is to push somebody up there. They hope that that person will be able to provide for them. And Mr. Comey told me this thing. He said, "Oh, Liberia is a small country. How many educated people got? Look at if you look at a master's degree holder in Liberia, they're not more than 50 right now. So you go there, you carry a company that employ 3,000 to 4,000 people. Let's say you got the ArcelorMittal, right? You got 5 more companies like ArcelorMittal, you know, maybe in the mining sector. You got the maritime sector open. You got the agriculture sector open. You got the forestry, everything. You need people in the forest. You in 2 months time, you will employ all the educated people. Then you start looking for people. Say when you put an announcement, or nobody want to apply because even in as much as they want to apply, they're not even qualified. So all we need is jobs in our country. When the people working, my man, politicians will be less important because they will go look for people. You can't go turn off for us. So you can make our crowd big. Probably they'll go way in the forest to go call the agriculture people you can vote for. No. Politicians are the least important people in any given society where the citizens can afford. But let's go to our next topic, that is the economy. And the voters should ask this very important question. What is in there for us? How are you going to bring companies? And those companies that are in Liberia already, what will they do for us? Look at Lamco. Lamco was in Yekepa for all the years. The short piece of road between Ganta and Yekepa, they not pave that road. I grew up on the train track. My grandfather, I was born there, I grew up there. My grandfather had a farm. The white people, I got to know where me long time I was small, but they used to stop on our farm to buy pineapple and other things. My first I said now we were me as soon as me I want to believe because they were in that thing there. Okay, they have one small tree called Chaser, small short like this. They used to work in so they will come buy from us. So this guy had come to buy, but we didn't have change. So my grandfather and myself sat with this man and we had to go to the next place where they get a shop to get change. So the people that were transporting their people from Buchanan straight by rail, they actually call it rail bus. Every evening they can go and come by the next morning, then go again in the evening. They will carry people from Yekepa to go enjoy in in Picana, then from there they take people from Picana go enjoy Ikepa. So they didn't care that piece of road between Ganta and because our leader did not push it. That today we got a mining company somewhere in Pomi Hills that they transporting their iron ore by trucks. Tell me, I mean, sorry for the expression, but tell me, where sensible people, which sensible country will do that? But let me read something from the maritime or the Liberia ship registry. Then we'll discuss that. It says the Liberian registry has been proudly serving the shipping industry for over 74 years. I'm reading directly from the side. For over 74 years. Tell me, none of us here is 74 years. Oh, none of us here. So there were our fathers' days. Now, how did our fathers benefit within 74 years and how are we benefiting? It goes on to say the Liberian registry is comprised of 5,600 vessels. And we're talking about vessels of different dimensions. We're talking about Panamax, we're talking about Capesize, we're talking about Afromax and all these different dimensions of ships. Okay, all the ships you see, they're not the same. They're not the same length, the same depth, and whatever. Different terms. Okay, 5,600 vessels. Now, take for example, take one Liberian man on each of these vessels that are carrying our flag. So you'll be employing 5,600 Liberians. That one part. Let's continue. And they say the 5,600 vessels are aggregating over 242 million gross tons, representing 15% of the world's total fleet or ship-going fleet. We represent Liberia, the ships in our registry is a total of 5,600 ships, representing an aggregate of 242 million gross tons. The tonnage is the capacity of the ship, okay? And then that represents 15% of the world's total fleet-going, sea-going fleet. Can you imagine? Okay, Liberia has earned international respect for its dedication to flagging the world's safest and most secure vessels. So under our flag, under our shipping registry, we got the best thing. In fact, it's something they call white list. We are on the white list, meaning our ships are safe, secure, out of problems. Now, I will not continue to read all the way down. But the last paragraph I want to read, it says, the Liberian registry is administered, that means managed or run, by the Liberian International Ship and Corporate Registry, LISCA, a private US-owned, globally operated company. Can you imagine? It is privately owned. And gentlemen, I'll tell you one thing before we move ahead. In maritime, under the IMO, there's a law that every ship that fly your flag, you should have an employee of your country or a citizen of your country on that ship. So we got 5,600 ships running our flag. When I was at Southampton University, I did ship and port management in my bachelor. Then I did international maritime studies in my master's. Now I had the Indian boys. One of them, we always sat and talk. We had the Indian boys, apart from Ghana and Nigeria. All the guys, they've been all ship before. Chinese boys. So they always evoke me. They say, my man, we have seen Liberian Chinese, Liberian Indians, Liberian, all kind of people. I said, what do you mean? They said, we're going to carry a passport. And they work on the same ship with us. You imagine what we're talking about? Where you have Liberians stranded, they cannot get a job. They are in the street chanting political slogans, killing each other, biting each other's ears off. But your flags are in the hands of foreigners. They are not even black people, Indians and Chinese. Where are we? Gentlemen, where are we? Mark, your talk to me. Where are we? Where is our economy? In whose hands?
Linfa, it's so good you brought about these ships. Before the war, we used to have something the Liberian men call seamen. So some of our brothers, they used to do the maritime courses, and they will go on sea for a couple of months. They travel from one country to another. That's one of the reasons that you find a lot of Liberians before the war, they used to speak, different languages because of the seaman stuff. But after the war, the UP government that were in power for 12 years, they never did enough to bring back these kind of programs and these kind of ideas that would get Liberian to be employed. Even some of the people today that we call, because most of the people used to work as seamen, they used to read and write, yet most of them were not even what you call college students. So high school graduate, that was opportunity for employment. But the UP government never did enough to help the human resource capacity that could bring, because these people, they were bringing, how they call it, foreign cash to the country. Every time you travel as a seaman, you stay on sea for a few months, you come home with a lay $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. So it was also helping the economy. And when you talk, like we said previously before Francis came on the show, these are things the ordinary voter are supposed to be concerned about. And even the people you call politicians today, they are not even preaching that message. Most of them have forgotten about this kind of a stuff. As to, if you're running for presidency, these things, you know about the maritime affair, you know about the mining sector, you know about the logging sector, you know about the, for example, the iron ore, the gold, the diamonds. Even though I don't believe we are exporting a lot of diamonds, because if you look on the, how they call it, to do that Liberian main source of income, the iron ore, the gold, the, how they call it, the maritime and the firestone. So as I said before, and I'm repeating myself, these people, they don't tell us nothing how they are going to reform the system, what changes they're going to bring about. Like the 5,000 some more ships you talk about. We can see how much Liberia made from that. You got an American company. The same thing that happened, I mean, with Niger today, you understand. You got somebody sitting somewhere and making money out of a country that they got no connection with. Okay, they got no connection with. And the people who own the flag that these ships are flying, they are getting a drop in the ocean, not even in the bucket, because if a drop in the bucket, you will see the wave. You understand? But a drop in the ocean is so wide, you can't even see nothing that there's a drop in the ocean. Okay, and that is what happened into Liberia. The same thing with our mining sector. Yeah, Meta in Liberia. What's the worth of the contract? What's the length of the contract? And where did that money go? You hear Meta, the contract, oh, that $3 billion or that $5 billion. Where is the $5 billion? Where did the government spend that? What did the government spend that money on? Okay, our people not asking this kind of question. You got Firestone contract will expire. It was extended by Evil Ellie. The length of the contract that were extended, what did the money go towards? Okay, how was that money used? And these new people that was running today that want to be president, they're not even telling us anything different. So they just going to come to power too and be part and be part of the same situation that got the country backward. Because even though I support my political leader, but these are things we don't hear about. Oh yeah, the country been making X, Y, Z from the past, how they call it, years, and the money have not benefited us. Our mining sector, the money have not benefited us. This is how much we used to make from our the maritime sector. This is how much we used to make. The money have not benefited us. But you're talking about you create job, you create, how they call it, this one, you create that one. Where are you going to get the money from to create these things? Come clean to the Liberian people. Except you want to come to power too, like Georgia is a puppet. You want to come to power and be puppet of America, because America is in that country and exploiting Liberia big time.
And still talking about the opportunity we have in the maritime sector, because that's a broader sector. It doesn't really have to do with the ships that we want to see. But
for example, for example, Berlin for sorry, you talk about 5,000 some more ships.
5,600.
5,600 ships. Let's say each of those ships, right? They pay $25,000 or $50,000 for flying Liberian ship. I mean, for flying Liberian flag. Do you know how many hundred million is that? Just imagine if each of them paying $50,000. Do you know how many million is that? And an American firm sitting in America, or an entity sitting in America and collecting our money. How much do we get? Are we paying these people, or these people, they pay themselves? But these are things our politicians will not tell us.
And like I was saying, our own people, our government officials, our leaders are the problems. We discover oil in Liberia, they sold the oil bladder, one thing they did. The next one is you got this company called APN Terminals in Liberia.
And the oil block they sold. The thing that I saw, I talked to somebody like some part of, I think last year or the beginning of this year. You know, all are on the water, right? And you don't have a sophisticated, or the Coast Guard, they are not sophisticated enough to see if the people are even discover oil, that their ships are coming in deep sea and they are drilling oil, but they tell Liberian people, say, oh, they have not discovered oil yet. You don't discover oil yet, how can you go build rigs worth millions of dollars? We don't have the sophistication to know what are ships then come to the area, because if you onshore, you can see the rigs. You understand? And these people, they are so good in stealing from exporting third world countries.
You are talking about signing contracts. The first mistake our people make is they sign contracts, especially lawmakers. They sign contracts that they got no idea about. And if you look at if you look at America, the House of Representatives and the House of Senate, they got educated people, they got lawyers, they got doctors, they got people in different disciplines who serve on committees. They don't just grab one Tom, Dick, or Harry and put him on a committee. Like, if you are a journalist, you serve on a committee on information. If you have some journalistic background, if you're from the medical side, you can go to health, education, you go to education, tell it that. So you got a house full of people who have no expertise in any of these areas. So because they are in a house, they get divided themselves. Me, I go on the other committee, I go on the other committee, I go on the other committee. So if you are on that committee and certain opportunity arises in that particular area, like the APM terminal case, I try to see all the people on the committee on maritime in Liberia and see all of them that got shipping background. So APM terminals, you know, those are clever people. That company, it actually comes from the background of Maersk. If you see it continues with Maersk. It's a Danish company, if I'm not mistaken. That company, they have been in this business for over 200 years. They do container. In fact, as we speak, they got the largest container ship. I need to do my research again. But when I was in school, that was roughly 10 years ago, they had the largest container ship. It was called Emma Maersk, named after their mother. But they had to decommission it because they were bringing a new one. That one was carrying about 15,000 TEUs. That means 15,000 containers, 24 containers. Not even 44, not even 24, but the 44 containers. 15,000 of them on a strike. So when they board and load, they do east and west bound trade. When they load in China, before they reach America, within a 2-3 month space time, they were making trillions of dollars. That company, they also run ports. They will come to Liberia after the war, because Liberia have been in war, everything was damaged. So the board, they're looking for opportunity. Like I said, they have been in this business for years. So they know all the intricacies. So when they saw the opportunity on the Mali, that this is a country, your country got a lot of ships on its flag. They thought that most of the flags, those ships that run our flag coming to our country, sir. So they said, let's go invest in their port. So they come and sign 25 million. Mark, every time I think about it, the very fact that I think about it, my block and pour inside me. Like, we are stupid people. Our country is a stupid country. What are we? Did we commit any sin that we cannot be redeemed? That this guy will come and what is 25 million Mark? 25 million dollars. What is it?
The country is not stupid, but you got heartless people. Ellen was a heartless woman.
No,
a clueless woman.
The level of time you have lived, Mark, the 1 cent, 2 cent, 2 cent, then get in. If you bring all back to yourself, it's more than 25 million. Trust me, I'll tell you that. Trust me, the one you can buy peanut with, the one you can go, you buy your bread thing, get everything by more than 25 million. So that's this company will come to Liberia and start 25 million contract for 25 years.
Just imagine.
Look, I can make, like I told you, they can make trillions of dollars just from China to America because ship not the airplane that fly direct. They pick up from China, maybe they go to Korea, from Korea, Vietnam, Thailand, all the people dropping, picking up container, dropping, picking up container. By the time they reach Europe, they are making enough money, then they pick up enough and go to America. When they're going back, they get they relay there. So that 1 day money there, 25 million, that 1 day money. They want to sign 25-year contract, and our lawmaker are running. They're not even reading the contract. They get looking for the signature page. Fear. Yeah, but we don't sign anything. They get a call. Simple. Then they sell the mortgage, the entire port, the container port to the people. What are we doing now? You say one container, that's trouble for you.
Brother Linfer, the thing here is not. I don't believe it has to do with somebody must be disciplined in that area.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The problem here is that one has to be loyal to his country. One has to be patriotic to his country. One has to be nationalistic to his country. You see the people who call European here, so I think you have heard about this thing they call white supremacy, right?
Oh, yeah.
But there's something they call Western supremacy. And that's the idea they use to cajole our people. And most of our leaders, they work for Western supremacy. They are not working for Africa supremacy or Africa improvement or Africa development. So once you have people in your own family, for example, again, Africa, working for Western supremacy, then that would be the problem always. One leader come to power, he compromised the interest of a whole nation for he and his crony or his inner cycle, take few $1 million here and there. These people that open offshore account for you, the same people that open offshore account for you, when you pass away, you and your family, first of all, your daughter or your children, they got problem in going to collect that money. It happened to Mabutu Sese Seko, it happened to Samuel Doe, it happened to, how they call this, Sonny Abacha, it happened to all the African leaders that corrupt their own people through the Western supremacy that open their eyes into corruption and say, oh yeah, you can buy the other mansion in Switzerland or you can live in Monaco, we buy the other apartment, the other penthouse for your family, for your daughter in America, the offshore account for you. Only they know that offshore account. There's a book that called The Blood Banker. If you read The Blood Banker, you had the opportunity to order a copy of The Blood Banker, then you will know what they understand, how the IMF, the World Bank, they introduced the thing they call flight money on third world countries, from South America to Asia to Liberia. You only hear the money name, but 70% of that money is in flight, where you service old debt for years upon years. You keep servicing old debt. Your debt can never finish. So you know, it's just that we just have to keep praying until we find a leader who will put our people interest first to say, look, some of these contracts, now in the world, you know, I'm one of the person who support this bipolar system. Instead of the one system that we've been living by, the one Western system, financial system that is controlled by these people. Let us have a multipolar system where people have the right to choose from. You understand? If the financial system is not working, for example, you go to a bank, the other bank offer you want to take a loan from the bank tells you, my man, yeah, we give you 9% interest rate on this money you want to take. The other bank tells you, my man, we give you 5% interest rate on this money you want to take. You got a lot of opportunity. You got different banks to choose from. So that is one of the things. I hope these new countries that are forming the BRICS, right? I hope they succeed so that the rest of the world will be liberated from the Western supremacy, because it is one of the things that kept Africa backward. If you don't, you know, sometimes we blame our leaders, right? But if you deep down, before we come to this era here, our people's hands were tied also, because these people, they had the guns, they had all the sophistication, they had the financial institution, they had all the technocrats. So if you say you want to deal with these people, what will happen to you and your people? So for that reason, our people were forced into these things. But watch the news trend that is unfolding. As countries are having a lot of opportunity now. The market is not in one location, it's in every location. So pretty soon,
I think one of the key words to touch there is the bipolar thing. We should, you see, it starts from the top, or the people should influence the process. You see, in Niger, what's happening now? I mean, we got to cross border now. You see what's happening in Niger. The people have decided, they are saying, no, listen, we do not want the French back here, because they are the ones that have been robbing us. They are the ones that have been taking our uranium and to the point where
I want to drink cold water glass.
Yeah, go.
I want to drink cold water glass.
So sorry for that interruption.
No problem, bro, Linfo.
Yeah. So the people are saying, no, you have been robbing us all this time. So we don't want that a country that is supplying uranium for electricity for another country. Some of their villages, in fact, their cities do not have electricity. Can you imagine? How does that look? What does that tell you? So
That's it.
the mobile phone you and I use.
Yeah.
I think Cobalt or there is something in here that will fire in the mobile phone that will. Which country is found in? Congo. What is Congo today? Congo is at war. You got Congolese who live in the mud. In fact, they call them the Bushmen. Can you imagine?
Bro,
If it were the white men who had this thing, you would not even have mobile phone in Africa.
That's the same thing that happened in Liberia. We only believe that iron ore the people were taking from Liberia, but they were taking other minerals from Liberia too as well. But we didn't know that. And up to now, we don't have, good geologists in the country that will go up those working site and things to say, okay, what these people are taking from, what kind of rock these people taking from, they're transporting. Sometimes the area they're working will be so of them that work there, and that night shift they are on, and our people only working in the day. In the night they take a lot of how they call it, different things from Liberia, and we only there, we're not benefiting nothing. The same thing with Firestone. They take the rubber from Liberia, they go to different areas, they produce jobs for those people, they face tire there, but in Liberia, they are only taking the raw later from the country. You know, some of these land at Firestone own in the country, when the contract expire, you turn some of the land to agriculture, you cut down no tree and you start massive plantation in that place that will benefit the Liberian people, because Liberia, we are not benefited nothing from Firestone. Are there any Liberian government official can show how many $1 million or how many $1 billion Liberia benefited from Firestone? When they first came to Liberia, the contract that they got from Barclay and Charles D. King, 6 cents per acre. Just imagine, 6 cents per acre. And as time passes by, it came to $2.50 per acre. How many trees you got on 1 acre? How much you make from 1 acre, and times that by 12, and times what the amount of years you've been in the country. So the same thing what happened to Nigeria, the same thing what happened to Liberia. And that's the same reason war came to Liberia. But ordinary Liberian people would just say, oh yeah, because though the two cousin, the Nimbani and the Nigeria, they were killing each other. So we think that what brought the war to Liberia. But the war that came to Liberia was based on certain people interest, most especially America interest. Yeah, Ukraine is fighting. How many billion America are giving to Ukraine? But Liberia sent our war. Our infrastructure is still bad. Then they talk about the support democracy. My food, that democracy the poor in Niger will eat. How much France made from the Francophone country? There's one lady from Zimbabwe. She used to work, I think, with the United Nations before, or with the World Bank. They call her social media name African. That woman put up some, stuff that you find it to say, yeah, these people, they are very evil. And I say this, the Western government and their citizen will differentiate the two of them, you understand? Because their government is very evil, the citizens are very good. And if the citizen know some of these things, one of the reasons they don't teach war history in their school, most especially when it comes to slave trade and colonialism, because there are people will protest and stone and so money in the street for that reason. They don't teach the history in their schools. They don't teach them to their children. For example, like Zimbabwe, before it was called Rhodesia. If you see pregnant woman hanging on a tree with her child behind the back, she's pregnant and she got rope around her neck hanging. If they show this documentary in school, in Western society, the child will go home, that child will not eat. Even the woman says she will not want to lay down by. They will feel ashamed of their country, except for those students that are into geopolitics and studying international relations that come across this kind of document. They don't want to know that what you and I, then you see the African man pull like the fool they call Joseph Borrell, the EU foreign secretary, who say, oh yeah, the rest of the world is a forest and they are the garden. When the fuck you can stay in a forest? But every little time you want something, you go in the damn forest. Stay out of the damn forest and you got a garden. Eat what you produce from your damn garden. Leave the poor forest alone.
I would tend to agree with you when you talk about them not teaching, even in the same thing in America. It's because of pressure that they got something called Black Museum and all these things, because of pressure on Black people. But I will share a short story with you. I was traveling from Houston to Florida, Texas, and My cousin had bought flight ticket for me. I said, no, I want to drive on the R10 from east to west. I just want to drive. I want to go with a bus, with a with a train. So I got on the train, the Amtrak. And this train, not in a cargo train, it carry organizing. I just saw the bucket, the logo model came with guys. The train will go and start for no reason. So we're on a short distance, we're on the train for complete 4 days. So in the train, they had this small canteen where you can go to buy food because everything is expensive. To a small bottle of Coca-Cola is $5 because you got elsewhere to buy it. You got to buy it for the train. So I saw the fat little black American picking young boy. It should be between 21 to 22, maximum 23 years old. He was selling in this canteen. So my second day, we slept on the train. The next morning, I went to buy something to eat. So the boss saw me that I'm African. So I said, I want hamburger. But because I didn't say the American way, the Peking can say, what? So I said, then I pointed to it. He said, oh, you want a burger? I said, yeah. He said, but you got accent. You look like African. You sound like African. I said, of course, I'm African. So I hate Africans anyway. Hey, man. I mean, man, all the white people, they retired white people, all the people say now. The Peking told me Latin. Then I turned around, saw behind me. So white people say now. And you can see some of my white people were embarrassed. So I said, excuse me, what did you say? He said, I hate Africans because you saw our parents as slaves. Then the boy was telling for me, you know me from nowhere. Then I said, excuse me. I know you said I sound like African. I got accent, right? It's true. But I want you to listen to me. Do not listen to my accent. Listen to the sense I will make. I said, you said, who taught you that our African parents sold your parents as slaves? He said, that's why they tell us in school. I said, okay, go and tell your teacher that he's a liar. I said, the white people. I said, look at these white people sitting here. Some of them are very old, more than you and I. I said, let one of them show any document that was signed by our people that our people sold them. These people carry guns through the Bible and pointed to our people's head and took you as slaves. I said, okay, let me give you an example. I'm coming to buy this hamburger. You think if I really love this hamburger and I pay money for it, and you give me, I'll open the window and throw it out? After buying it, he said no. I said, okay, think about that. When they were bringing the slaves, they bundled the people and tied them. Like you tie cargo. And even those that were resisting, they had to kill them, put them in the water, and the fish ate them. They threw a lot of people overboard. So if they really pay money for these people, you think they'll do that? So I said, well, go and tell your teacher whoever told you that they lie. I said, ask the white people. Let them confirm that, I was so mad, so I walk away. In the evening, I came back to buy something again. When they see kind of hatred in my heart now for him, so I came with my face tab. But when I came, it were 3 people. 2 people sitting waiting in the corner. He and myself were 4. Then after he served me, he looked around and said, excuse me, sir. Sorry for this morning, but he said, where you come from? I say, from Liberia. There's a country called Liberia in Africa. If you read about that country, that's the country where they resettled all the black slaves. Go and read it. He said, but sir, you told me something that I've never learned. I said, what? He said that because these people want to tell us that you sold us. That's why if you notice, black Americans will hate Africans. And that's true. They don't like them. So he said, that's why they tell us. I said, okay, go and read. So he said, I'm going to tell my mom and dad who will begin to make research. That little boy, because I spent 4 days on the train, that little boy became my friend. Because they don't know. They will not tell the story you're talking. A black, you see this boy, Julius Malema. You know how bitter this boy is all the time. Every time he remembers that he was a young boy and the apartheid soldiers went in his mother's apartment while his mother was laying down. Apparently, I don't think Pharaoh or something like that. But that the woman was only in or under clothes. That this guy had to lift the blanket from over this woman. They want to identify whether she was a rebel or something. That boy never forgets it. Julius, just the morning I was listening to him. Anytime he would tell a story, that it hurts him.
And these are things they want you to turn the other cheeks all the time. You understand?
Yes.
Just imagine in Liberia alone, okay? The Nima Ray. Just imagine the Nima Ray, what happened to a young boy coming outside in the morning, see his parents being put in a well in Nima County. You understand? See his whole family being murdered in Nima County. and you expect that boy growing up with all no sister, no mother, no uncle, no family member, and you expect him to just let it go. The same thing, how they call it, say, when the rebel came to Monrovia, you understand, other people were the victim. Then think about people that went through apartheid for decades. You understand? They born in it, their grandparents born in it by people who come from different places, enslaved them, colonized them, and in their own country, they got no right, they got no pride, they got no dignity. The same thing with Zimbabwe. When the Zimbabwe man said, look, when the conflict started, it started 1994, because we follow history. When Mugabe went to these same people, you know, Mugabe was loved by the British Empire. He got a lot of degrees and stuff. He was one of the most educated, if not the most educated African leader. You understand? By that time, he and these people, they were in jolly, they were in bed. But when time came, he said, look, my people are getting educated, and all these people were making their farm in Zimbabwe. All of the money were not in the country, but were in offshore account in Australia, in Sweden, in Europe, in America. But the country they were taking the money from, no, they don't have even say $10,000 saving in that country. Their children going to the best school. And these people that are farming from there, they're living from hand to mouth. Even if you take a fruit from that man's farm, that man will beat you to death. You understand? These people went through the kind of thing. When a man come to you, the man know how you got the damn land, how you got in the country in the first place. You didn't get that land, how they call this, legally. When C.C. Rowe, another Hitler, you understand, went to Zimbabwe, killed the people in Zimbabwe. Okay, but when the African men say, I want my land back peacefully, today Zimbabwe is going through sanction. You understand? So I always say I distinguish the ordinary citizen from their government. But the people that love these people, at the end of the day, they're going to be isolated if they don't change their mentality towards the African. Because the African men always turn it both cheek. You understand? That Jesus Christ says, send the other cheek, turn the other cheek. But the time is coming, the African man is not going to turn the cheek any longer. Because I always give this, how they call it, to do here. If you check all the human race, the children born between the African and the European is more than any other race. But they don't see you and I to be anything. We are nobody to them. There are dozens of videos where the people, they go into conferences and things. We have to keep Africa poor, because if the Africans are educated, there's no way we can exploit them. What sort of stupid saying is that? What sort of nonsensical saying? But when the Chinese men come to Africa, then you go on the radio, you share that stupid phobia. Oh, the Chinese will take over Africa, the Chinese. Can you compare the sin you committed in Africa? The sin you committed in Africa, the Chinese are not committed 0.000.0 to what you have done to the African when it comes to the human being you kill in Africa. The first genocide, when we talk about how they call it Holocaust, that against the African. The Holocaust you committed against the African, the Chinese are not even said done, even scratch a head on the head of, a hair on the African man's head. You understand? The same thing when it comes to development. You learn most of the countries in airport. For Liberia, for example, that shop where you call Rabo International Airport, where the Americans were using for World War II. Who gave that place a facelift? That the Chinese. Your ministerial complex, that the Chinese. But they will come to you tomorrow, they'll say, oh, you'll be mindful with the Chinese. Why the hell you tell me to be mindful with the man who helping me to cross from the other side of the river to go to the other side of the river? You tell me to be mindful with that man. But you that tell me to be mindful with the man, you can't even say, give me touch light for me to see in the dark. People chatting say we stupid people.
This is phobia. The same thing we talk about people wanting to the supremacy. They want to be the only rooster in the town, right? Have you?
Yeah, Western supremacy.
I think you have seen this thing. Like you got one rooster, and then you bring another new rooster. The first day they will very fight because the new rooster doesn't want to be in the town. He doesn't want to be the rooster. So that's the kind of mentality these people got. Whole Russia, I was watching something, because every morning they kind of thing and pop on my phone, and I was watching this thing, and this white guy was doing this podcast, and he was talking about Africa, Russia, and how all most African countries, and he showed a map. You will not believe that over 80% of the countries, of the 52 countries or so in Africa, have turned to Russia way. Africa has become, because they indicated by red. Africa has become red. The only white places you will see that part of West Africa and then somewhere around South Africa. But the rest of Africa, from the desert all the way, they have become Russian. They are leaning towards Russia. And the idea is that, like you rightly said, everybody wants a greener pasture, right? Now, our young people are dying to come to Europe here. Every time you look, you see Italian, these children get on a plastic boat, on a rubber boat to come. Italians see men go and punch up from distance with a gun. Blah, 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 they punch out the boat, and people are drowning. Then they go to their rescue. They push somebody in the water and take a few of them and put them on the boat and say, we'll rescue them.
And thank you for bringing the name of Italy up. Listen to the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgio Meloni, okay? Listen to that woman video. She got a couple of videos. Woman say, Africa is not poor. How in the hell we sit in Europe, we say Africa is poor? You know how much France made from Africa? France, that woman, the Italian Prime Minister, she exposed France. And these are some of the reasons the French, they don't like her. Because she put their secret outside. You go to a place, you're digging gold, diamond, uranium, and thing, and you say the African poor. But if only these people, you know, I told some of my friends at work when they brought the Chinese phobia, Russian phobia to me, I said, you shut the fuck up. You're talking nonsense here. You people just feel that all Africans stupid. Then one old man to the working place, old man say, you be careful with the guy. You see the guy every day, he come to work, he got someone a book in hand reading. So I said, the nonsense you people selling to us, y'all won't take honey from our mouth and y'all get a candy. You understand? How do you, I mean, how do you call this, translate that? The Chinese and the Russian, and this is the place that the Chinese are already ahead of them. If the West don't change its attitude to share technology, to help Africa with infrastructure, they are finished. Because the Russian and the Chinese, they are going to invest more into Africa when it comes to infrastructure, because that's one of the places Africa problem is, the infrastructure and the production. And African, we are not even set copy what the Chinese, you know, the Chinese man started on a smart path by what they call imitation and photocopy. That's why the Chinese man, he come to the West, anything he buy after 5 years, he sell it back to the West. He didn't want it again, because if you're not doing photocopy with it, but with the African, you learn for, you leave from Ghana, you go to Liberia, you import how they call it, some tissue from Pakistan or from how they call it, or from Bangladesh. You start producing shirts in Liberia. Your own Liberian brother, then they won't wear your shirt because they're not Versace, they're not Armani. But go in China, the only people you find wearing Armani, Hugo Boss, Versace, and things, those are the super, super rich people. But all the clothes in China, on the Chinese market, in Thailand, in Malaysia, they are wearing their own things. The same man who tell you say be careful with the man from China, but you go all in the shopping mall and in the how they call it, say electronic store, everything produced there, 95% come from China. But they'll tell you the African man be mindful of Chinese.
I told you something about in Maritime, there is something called the East-West boundary. Without the East, the West will not live. And I will also give you a scenario. Go to any port in Sweden, especially a container port. You will see millions of containers lying there. Ask yourself, nothing in no container, some of that empty container. And this is one of the mystery that the shipping industry have been facing over 100 years. Everything is produced in the East and consumed in the West. How did those goods get there? They come in container. But the question is, what can you produce in the West that the East will take back in those containers? So that's why you get all the containers on the side. And there is only some theory in the shipping, something called the replacement of containers. They are being fighting hard to solve it to the point where they try to make plastic container that can fold. But still, they can't make it. Because everything, as we speak, you get millions of containers coming from China, from the East. Like Bangladesh, most of the things where they are made in Bangladesh, they are made in these small European,
Asian countries.
Yep. So all the things coming to the West, go to America, all that thing there is from the West.
And most of
the assholes all that coming in there.
And so most of the material that produces these things, that they produce these things from, come from Africa. But instead of them opening company, and they don't want to open company in Africa because they don't want your life to develop. They don't want your life to improve.
But they will come and make you scary and say, oh no, don't let the Chinese come. But there are the same people who taking all their communists and carrying it to China for cheap labor, and then the Chinese producing everything for them. Then they say, oh, no, Africa, don't play around the Chinese. They're bad people. Okay.
Now the next stupidity is to take joy from China now to carry to India. It's like you hitting the other womb but you're going to create another new womb. What a stupid group of people there.
I was on the bus. We actually finished for a year. I was on the bus in England. Coming from school that afternoon. Then there was this English lady. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who made of her. She just started talking bad about foreigners and shouting, talking all kind of thing about foreigners. So this English Indian woman was sitting. Say, look, shut the hell up. Say, what you talking about foreigners? Who you call foreigner? You are the foreigner in your own country because you went to our country. Who knew you? So show me any British man that Indian people colonized in the country, or show me any British man or any British land that African came and colonized. You left from here to go look for trouble. You went to us. Someone will follow you and come to your home. You know, she was speaking that British accent, right? When we come to your home and you said and talk all this nonsense, I said, more plaza. Everybody look at you. I said, that's sad now. Because the thing is, sometimes you say you can't blame somebody, the ordinary people, but some of the ordinary people are into their stupidity. They think that we are just coming here, we got nothing to do at home, but you look for the trouble.
Brother Linford, the people number one weapon, their number one weapon that they created to cajole the rest of the world, that's their media institution. And that is why they are fighting for the censorship on the social media, because the social media now is where people go to for alternative news. So they are going to continue this fight to try to control the news that is on the social media, and it's too late for them. The BBC, what is the purpose of BBC? BBC is the number one weapon for the British, how they call it, the empire, beside the military and the security apparatus. The same way America, all the news media in America, the cities, the CNN, the Fox News, all these people, they are weapon institutions.
Yeah, the CBS and all the stuff. But, you know, I think, like you said, we are beyond that era where they used to control the narrative. Africans are getting to control their own narrative somehow because we are following. I mean, imagine who would believe that some countries in Africa will stand up and say, no, listen, America, get out of here. France, get out of here. If you go back 50 years ago, African countries would rather go to France and say, please come. Can't take our time, can't take our go. But now people are saying no. So it's going to be it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a tough game, an uphill march. You got to push each other. Africans, you have to put your hand. If I'm ahead, push me. Let me push the next man until we can go. It will not be easy.
Look, Linford, one of the things that will stop this threat of this threat from the West of threatening Africa with military and want to use their puppet, a drugs dealer who were in, how they call it, America before in Chicago and become president in Nigeria. His secret coming outside little by little now. You know how the internet is powerful. This fool who's in Nigeria, this president. You know, I wrote about these things almost 10 years ago, that Africa, we need at least 3 countries to be nuclear power country. When I mean armed with nuclear weapon, that's the only thing that they call the deterrence. You understand? It will deter these people from invading an African country any kind of way that they feel like. And Africa need to stay in solidarity. You touch one country. You come from outside Africa, you touch one country like the nonsense that they did in Libya. A fool like Obama who's supposed to be sitting in a cave, in prison. Obama action with Sarkozy there in Libya. You know how many 100,000 people die in Libya? But Obama then going from places and giving speeches and stuff. Tony Blair, they lied to the rest of the world that Iraq had weapon of mass destruction. George Bush there. The other day, he was some that video circulator, you were making a statement against Russia, and you're talking about, oh, you cannot invade a country illegally. That he won't say he was talking to. But these people, they are justified. There are people walking free. But when it comes to other leaders, then when they know they got international criminal code. International criminal code, my foot. Prosecute your own people first.
No, but America said none of that people can go to international criminal
exactly.
code.
And you still find some country then to sign up to that particular Muppet code, that bogus code. If the other man say his citizen cannot go to that code, be prosecuted, and you still got your signature on that documentary, you are still being colonized.
And why did they hate Mugabe so much? Mugabe said, no, treat us as equals. You are president of your country, I'm president of my country. Treat us as equal. And that's why they don't want to they don't want to hear. And our leaders buy into that, and they go honor, they live under them. So you know, that's it.
Linford, the reason for that was there were only one financial institution. So for that reason, a lot of leaders then were being bent over. But the new financial institution, when it's completed, You find a lot of leaders will tell you, say, get the F out of here because I don't need your system to be able to buy from Brazil. I don't need dollar to be able to buy from India or to import from China. So get the fuck out of here. I can use my own currency. We convert with each other. The Brazil, the India, the Argentina, the Pakistan, the Russia, we will be able to trade with each other. We don't need to use another country currency. That time is over.
I think that time is over. And you know, like I said, we're hoping that African leaders and so see what hurts me the most is these old guys with the antiquated mentality, like the likes of Tinubu. Can you imagine? No, what is more military coup than a dictator who himself came as a military leader, changing the constitution in his favor? That is a coup against the people. So if you guys who are in the military take out and move that person, when something happens, the OAU or the AU people, the ECOWAS people, they don't go to settle it, like they will wait until the thing blow out of proportion before they go there. When it starts, they don't go there. You got a man who came to power through the powers of the guns. Then he changed the constitution in his favor to try to go a term to do something that he's not supposed to do. So if another group of people remove him, then you'll say you want to go. But you know, it's good that all African countries stood up and they said, if you touch Niger, you're touching us, and we will come after you. And all right, then they're all military people. So we'll see what they'll do. And I understand that France have already started amassing troops. Well, in France, why are you carrying people there? Who call you? They people are not your colony. You are country by yourself.
And the man tell you, say, leave my country. Is it force? Leave my country.
Go. The people are not your colony. They got independent a long time ago. But the interest, let me tell you, they were ashamed themselves. And there is no way that any country can win a war on foreign land. America tried in Vienna, they did not win. They ran away.
My man.
They ran away. They put that
the America, then the country that called themselves, how they call themselves, most powerful country, they never go to war by themselves. They always carry somebody with them.
Yeah, that's why they're doing in Ukraine now. So, but we see.
But anyway, back to Liberia. I hope Liberian people will be asking some of the questions as to where our money, the thing that gave us money, and who collecting our money, and how our government spend their money instead of on salary alone, how much we put into infrastructure. So I hope our people, these are things Liberian voters supposed to be concerned about. Instead of killing themselves, going to fight for George, we are going to fight for Joseph Boakai. As I said, the question, since George, we have been president in Liberia for the past 6 years now. Where is our maritime money? What is he doing with our maritime money? The money from Firestone, how much Firestone pay to us a yearly? The same question. Ask Cummings the same question. Cummings, when you come to power, the money from Firestone, have you any idea how much we get from Firestone? Or have you any idea how much we get from the mining sector, or how much you're going to invest into infrastructure? These are questions I put to ask Cummings. People should ask Boakai. Instead of going on the street, you're going to kill each other. When the men come to power, they get security while you're sleeping in the same mosquito. Your children can't get food to eat. Your women that go sell their food and people can buy. You go sell whole day, you go sell a bag, or you go sell rice. You can't even sell a quarter of a bag of rice. But you want to kill yourself or somebody who will be flying private jet tomorrow, or how they call it, say, get security, and you and your wife and family, you got no security.
Yeah, they tell you go buy your own CCTV camera.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? And if our people will only think, but again, this is a result of suppression, oppression. That these people have been oppressed. I said that my little brother can tell me, we probably used to suffering now, so we don't even feel it. Can you imagine? And these are some of the people will not sit down or come out to use the toilet. Some of them will not stay on a shower or sit down in a bathtub or sit down in a jacuzzi. Some of them will not see the inside of a plane. Some of them will not even lay down in a hotel room. Some of them will not sit down in car or in their own car. Some of them will not ride train. Not that they don't want to.
And these people, some of them are so argumentative. Even when you try to explain to them.
No, they will not understand.
Yeah, you try to explain to them, you that live in the West, you try to explain to them the reason of accountability, the reason that you should question these people. For example, where your money going, the country belong to the country doesn't belong to one person. Yeah.
Yeah. Then the little boy tell me, say, nobody know that coming man. Now the men will know they've been here for years. I said, so tell me, how is your life? He said, we are still the same, but we can't try experiment with new. So you don't want new. So actually, I said, how long the team trouser you wearing today? How long you been wearing it? So if they bring new one to you, now only say I'll hold it, but politics, we can try experiment with new people. Can you imagine? Because they are brainwashing people. They are made them to believe that when I give the analogy all the time, people can laugh. Take a born a child for the first time, you keep that child face down all the time. When you reach 20, 30 years old, turn him around, tell him this is up. He'll say no. Because he will know down. So and I all little bring the example in my family. But all I little brother, he's an agriculturist. He worked with one project. He was in this place, Kigali, a week ago. He just came 1 week down. He was taking pictures. So I said, "Why you are taking?" He said, "I just feel that in Europe." I said, "Why?" He said, "Look at the post street. They can wash it with water." I said, "Ah." Then he said, "I see now somebody. Why you can be telling us when you're saying that you're talking, we think you're joking. That librarian need to develop." I said, "Okay." So look at Obuaka, who will go to America, nobody taking a can to Dunkin' Donut. He didn't even know any good. He didn't even know a way around in America. This man, who can he set way and broker or D in America is people will now hold hands and carry. And even though people in America who carrying him to people, some of them they are just ordinary people like us, pushing an hour when they get free time. Maybe they go on the internet and find somebody government official telephone number and call and say, "Oh, can we meet with this? Okay, you're bring your man." You go pull a black guy who's.
I'll be honest with you.
Make sense. The message
I'll be honest with you. If coming were in our age and want to run for presidency in Labrador, I'll tell Comey, I'll say, my friend, find somewhere to set the hell down. Yeah. Go find somewhere to sit down. Their country doesn't need men like you. Yeah. Start fooling elaborate people. You don't love this country. I'll tell Comey to go to here and go find a place to sit down in a particular condition, state of mind that you are. But these people, they are all criminals that don't have Labrador heart.
Yeah, but they're doing it for their own motives. That they will go and buy a whole lot of Gatorade, they power drink. They give it to the old man. And that thing, the old man get a heart problem. You can't do that. So, but he himself too, because and then people will say, "Oh, Comey miss the opportunity." He can go and VP to them. I say, but who told us they may entitled to the presidency? So liberal people like they said, they have agreed to it, and I want to agree with them too. They say they use so hard time. So they're scared of it. We can just be feeling sorry for them, but there are people who say they use so hard time, they are ready. They say our minds are made up to catch hard time. You see? So we are trying. They say, "Oh, that your man, he distance away from the presidency." Fine. But this man, at least he can. He hustle. God bless him. He gets more in your account. He will not be hungry like you.
Look, that's why I say our people need education. And the 12 years of UP created deficit for us in our country. For example, any sound-minded person will look at what Comey has turned the ANC into. This man came to Labrador, according to them, nobody knew him. That's true. But look at what he had turned his party into, his organization into. That tells you that this man can build something from the ground and make it into something. Look at the CPP today, okay? That tells you that this man can turn something that is nothing into something. But look at these other people. They've been around more than 15, 20 years in politics. What organization? The organization, the other than they're running behind today, was created by somebody else. But Cummings, he came to Liberia. He started from grassroots, and look at today. He's one of the most talked about, if not the most talked about person in the country.
But I want to say thank you very much. We really did it today. Let me pat us on the shoulder because actually sometimes we just gotta go here, there, Yana, and touch on issues, and the economy will discuss it, how our country should be. What are we benefiting from these concessions? That's some of the questions that our people should be asking when they go to vote. Do not vote because you love the person. You love the person that one way love. They just like do love. That only one person love. They all love. The other partner didn't like him. So you love the people. You vote them to power to go up. Then you stay down.
There's
a red fruit up there. Then I push Mark up. Mark will eat. Sitting way up there enjoying. He eating. I just tell him, I say, "But man, give me some." I say, wait for the next time I'm ready. That's it. So you gotta consider yourself for the first law of nature. What's in there for me? What can I get? Me. You see, God. Even God applied the first law of nature. God say, I am. God will not say that and say, you are. He say, I am. So you always say I am. What's there for me?
Yep.
So on that note, I'd like to say thank you. Or we will be here on Tuesday again with a fresh edition of the program. I'm not sure if I'll be on a Tuesday show because I have an engagement, hospital engagement. I will be taking somebody to the hospital in the evening, so I'm not too sure if I'll be here. But for sure I can be here because the time is so bad, 7 o'clock that time, and it's 2 hours from me. So I don't know, but we got to see. But the team will still be here on Tuesday, and we hope we might get a guest. If we have a guest, then Mark and the rest of the guys will carry on. But I want to say thank you, Mark, and thank you for the viewers, and briefly to Francis who came in. We want to leave you now, but Mark, if there's any final thing you want to say or concerning the piece that we discussed for elections concerning the economy, and what the viewer, or the voters should be thinking about, any final message?
Yeah, I mean, I urge our people not to get in the street for anybody, go kill themselves for anybody, but ask the more critical question: where is the money for my resource or my mineral resource is going? Where the money from my maritime, the ships that fly my flare, where is the money going?
5,600 flares at the moment.
Exactly. Where
How
is the
many
money
Liberians on that ship? If you
that
put
Firestone
5,600, if you put 2 men on each of those ship, you have.
What is the value of the Firestone contract? How much Firestone gave to my government and where has that money gone? How much Maritime gave to my government and where is that money going? How much the mining sector that are in Liberia, the mining company, and how much they give to the government and where is that money going? Why I can't get good Medicare? Why my children can't go to good school? Why the roads are bad? I can't travel from one country to another. Why the crime rate in the country is high? Why is it when we go to buy in the market, we can, or when the people go sell in the market, they can't sell their goods for people to buy? Why is it our people in the diaspora, when they want to send something to Liberia, is so expensive? Why is it only one flight coming to Liberia? We ain't got heavy carrier coming to Liberia. These are things voters should concern themselves with instead of you going to chop your brother, you going to chop your sister. You might have person where you fighting that person, somebody in the family married to your cousin.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Yeah. You kill a man when you go look at a man body, that your brother-in-law.
So I just want to say thank you for the people that listen to us and follow us. We are not here for the numbers, but we are here to just tell the Liberian people, educate few of our people that will be watching the show and listening. And thanks to everybody for watching. Brother Linfo, I want to wish you a great weekend.
Okay, thank you so much, Mark. It seems to you, today is Friday, and we hope the rain will not come again, and we hope that we'll get. We'll be having some cool weather, and we hope we can get out of that. Well, thank you, folks. It was nice being here, and we want to leave you with this one. I actually got a new music for Charlie. I don't know how new is it, but I need to download it. I'll play. Maybe I can play from my phone. I don't know how good.
Man, that the best song that the one that Sunday got made for Shalimba.
But that the one Sunday got made a second one, boy. The one where you say CPP we here. You don't hear that one? CPP
no,
we here.
I hear that one. Yeah, I'll look for it tonight.
Is it Charlene that fixer to? Yo, it's so fun. I didn't know the music then can come on my Samsung music Sunday. So
I like the traditional song than the one that we're forcing ourselves to sing in English.
In English.
Yeah.
And I can find a challenge song now. But we just play Sunday and then we will be taking the evening, and we hope that you guys have wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening, and we'll be back here again. We'll be back again on Tuesday, like I said, and we hope that things will be okay. I can't find the message, so I think we just have to close because the time is gone. But we like to say goodbye and have a nice evening. We'll see you again another time. Have a nice day, and hope that you had a wonderful time.
You too, Brother Linfo.